Lisa Markovich of Website Design. Welcome to the Digi Dialogue info session. I'm so excited to have you here and talk with you about your area of expertise, and that's websites. So we're going to jump right in. Also, our in-studio guest, if you have any questions as we're going along, just drop them in the chat. I'll keep my eyeballs on those so I can pass those on to Lisa during the Q&A. So share a little bit of your background. Who is Lisa? Share as much personal stuff as you want and a little bit about your business, because we'll be digging into your business in just a moment.
Absolutely. Well, first, I want to say thank you very much for the invitation to be an expert on Digi Dialogue. I've attended it a few times and I really love what you're doing here. So thank you very much for this. Well, basically, I am a web designer and my background comes from many different areas. One, long time ago when I was a musician, I did my website there, I did marketing there, and I did that throughout my music career. And then I started working with an organization and we designed websites for attorneys. And I did that for a long time as well. So when COVID hit, I kind of lost my job. And so I'm like, what am I going to do? And everything that I did during my music career and at this organization brought everything full circle for me. And because of COVID, I wasn't performing much. So I took all my artistic abilities and I decided to create Website Design, which is kind of a funny like, yeah, what the heck does that mean? My husband and I call our home Markovich Mansion. So that's where that comes from. But basically, in a nutshell, I wanted to help new and small businesses because at that time, I was a small business. I knew nothing. So being able to help a newer small business with growth, being presented out in the open to the world online to say, hello, here I am, was a passion that I really wanted to explore. So that's where that all came about.
I love it. And thanks for solving the mystery of your company name, because I've known you forever and I don't think I ever knew that. So that's very cool. So let's talk about your business specifically. What kind of services do you offer? Because I know you do the website design, but you do some other support too.
I do. I work with a few really awesome experts because I'm not a content writer. I'm not an expert in SEO, and I'm not an expert in marketing. I mean, I know a little bit. I know a lot actually, but my main focus is working with the design. But I have experts that allow me to help my clients with like a one-stop shop, which means they don't have to go search around for other types of businesses to help them with the things that I don't do. So it's been working really, really well, whereby I can contact a copywriter, they take care of that for, the client, they work together, and then we can implement things that way. So, and other services that I offer are like newsletter marketing. We also do brochures. We also do business cards, graphic design on a small level, on a larger level, so there's all different aspects to my business that will really help a new or small business grow without spending a lot of money.
Gotcha.
And
gotcha.
That was my goal.
Gotcha. And that's great that you have everything there for clients in case they need that additional support.
Sure, absolutely.
Why is having a functional, dare I say, compelling website important for a small business? Because there's some schools of thought, which I totally disagree with, that you don't need a website. Okay. But I know when I meet someone, regardless of the circumstance, the first thing I do is I go Google them and I want to go look at their website. So I'd love to hear your thoughts as to why you think it's a passion of yours. And why is that?
Well, like you were just saying, when you meet someone or a business anywhere you are, whether it be a networking event, you want to find out more about them because you can only get so much information in a short conversation. So even though you're in a short conversation and you're establishing an immediate connection, you want to learn more. And if you go on Google, like you said, and you can't find them anywhere, it's kind of a turnoff because you don't know, you cannot find them. So I think it's very important, even if you're doing really, really well in your business, to have a website so that people can go and see who you are, what you do, what you offer, how to contact you, pricing. I love that, people should be more transparent with their pricing so that people can get a good idea of what they're going to cost, what it's going to cost them. And as a small business owner, that's very important. They want to know how much they're going to spend. So it also, having a website helps you to gain better relationships with online resources. You become a resource actually with your website, because when people go out there and search, and they can't, and they need to find you and they can't find you, it's frustrating. So if they met you and you've had a great connection, there's a lot of reasons why you should have a website. Let me just double check my notes here because I wanted to make sure I covered everything. I think I did. Yes. So basically you want to have a website to start your relationships and connect with people and let them find you.
Exactly.
Know what you
I
do.
look at my website as the digital front door to my business, right?
Exactly.
I don't have a brick and mortar store, or
Right.
location or office, I should say, but my website is my digital door.
Absolutely. And I don't talk in tech terms either.
Yeah.
I talk very frankly and as not and as simple as possible, because I have found, talking with people who don't know about websites and what they really do, they don't understand all that. CMS, so there's a lot of things. And even talking about, whether you have a brick and mortar or you don't, the website itself, it's your online calling card. It has everything. And if you don't have everything and it's not working for you, then that's a sign right there.
And here's the thing too, it doesn't have to be a multi-layered robust website from the get-go. You can build up capacity for that. Yes. And you offer a quick and easy, so to speak, one-page website for businesses that don't have a web presence. I know that's one of your offers. What do you think is one of the things maybe folks maybe misunderstand about what a website should do or could do, or an opportunity they might not be aware of?
Well, there are a number of things that people misunderstand, and it's not their fault. It's just that there's a lot that goes on in designing a website, making it work for you, making sure the design is user-friendly. There's a lot that goes into it on the back end as well. It's not just, hey, let's just plaster up a bunch of photos and some content and we're good to go. So basically 84% of today's consumers think that a website makes you a more credible business and you're more professional. So keeping that in mind is another great reason to have a website. So you want to show off your professionalism, your podcast if you've been on them, being a guest on a Digi platform like this, so people think that it's just not necessary half the time, but it definitely shows credibility and professionalism, and I think it's a very important asset for your business and investment.
And how do you think a website can be leveraged to build relationships with your online community specifically?
Well, as I was saying before, you have this website that is out there for people to see, and it's a great way to, if you're in a networking opportunity and you are establishing a relationship in person, you can talk about your website. You can direct people to your website. Putting your website link everywhere on social media helps drive traffic to your site so that they can get to know you. The more people get to know you, the more they will respond to you and want to know more about you. And I say this in simple terms because relationships can be difficult, but they can also be very easy. So with a website, with all your information on there, with a great design, great logo, great content, great everything, it's going to give that person or individual or possible client or customer the feeling of personability. They feel like they know you. And that's one thing that a website can really do for you. And it also helps to transform a positive light, when you're attracting your ideal clients and customers. You know what I mean by that?
Yeah. I mean, because when someone comes to the website, and again, there's different schools of thought on this, but I'm of
Sure.
this school of thought that you want to either attract or repel. You're not trying to convince anyone, right? So
No.
when they get there, they're like, okay, I'm looking for this service or this product or what have you. And reading the front page, you need to hook them, right?
Oh,
Because
yes. You want to address their concerns right away.
exactly.
Right away, because if they can't figure out what you're doing as a business, they're just going to go somewhere else.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like
So, yes,
nowadays you have like 1 nanosecond to get their attention. So,
exactly.
what kind of trends, if you will, do you see coming up with websites? Now, you and I talked a little bit offline about this because I'm not
Yeah.
familiar with ADI. You said that's something that is very interesting right now with websites. Are there any other trends?
Well, more and more, we want to make websites easier to use. And the biggest thing that I find with website issues is that they're not mobile friendly. More and more people are using their phones. So one of the biggest trends right now is ensuring that your site looks good on all mobile devices. Because if you don't, it's a turnoff because your site doesn't work well on mobile or tablet or whatever. And honestly, that's one trend. The other trend that's going on is simple white space or backgrounds that have like a photo that's like an overlay. So that it just kind of gives you a little bit so your eyes moving around and looking at other things. So there's a lot of different things. The problem with talking about websites is that there's so much that goes into it. I can't even get it all out in an hour or a half an hour. It's a personal thing. It's an individual thing. It's working with each client individually, finding their unique aspects and making those websites, whatever the trends might be, work for them. Make them stand out. I think outside the box. So talking about one type of website and what it can do for you is kind of difficult because everyone is different. Everyone's unique. Every business deserves to be seen in a spotlight like no one else.
Yeah, the
So
brand has to come through for sure.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. And everybody's different and the trends are different. They're continually changing. Just like your website. It's not a get it launched and it's done. It's continual. It's always growing. And you should always keep it updated and adding new content because you want people to find you and get to know you and your information. So there are a ton of trends. And I am very happy to talk with anyone in more depth about anything that we've talked about here, and not be so nervous about talking about this because
No, you're
it's
doing
just,
great.
well, it's just I want to be able to come across it, as this is not just something that you do in a business. It's very, very important. Very important to have a
Critical.
website.
Critical.
Yeah. And that, I work with each of my clients individually in a way that I have not seen in a lot of other website designers.
So I know this is probably going to be a difficult question to answer based on what you just said. But what
Yep.
would you say? This is our last question. What 3 things are must-haves on a website?
I think that number one, you need to be able to tell who you are. People need to know who you are. You want to be clear on what you offer, and that's going to be in your content or your services. And you also want to make sure that there's a way people can get in touch with you. There are so many times I've been on a website, there's no contact information. I'm like, seriously. I mean, yes, contact information is extremely important. Being clear with what your business is about, what you offer, and who you are. Oftentimes people don't talk about who they are. And I think it's a great thing to do. Be personal sometimes. I think that's how people get to know you. I put all my rock and roll stuff on my about page because it's different, and
It's part of
it
who you
starts a
are.
conversation. Yeah, it starts a conversation too. So you want to have some icebreaker information about yourself too.
Right
So you
on.
can
Well, Lisa,
start
thank
talking.
you so much. This has been super
Absolutely.
informative, and I really appreciate it.
Well, thank you for having me. I appreciate it.